How theater began. A primary source of entertainment shown throughout all types of various cultures comes through theater. Dating back to the time of ancient Greek civilizations, to the oldest known theater productions, theater plays a role not only in entertainment, but it has shaped and transformed societies of both Western and non-Western origins, culturally and socially. To understand how and why theater began, let us define the meaning of theater. According to our crash course video, theater is defined by a place in which a play is performed. By that definition, you could argue that theater is happening around us all the time, wherever you are. The only requirement, however, is that theater needs at least one actor and one audience member. Now that we know the actual definition of theater, where and how did theater begin? Scholars believe that theater, which is generally a more secular performance, originally developed from religious and sacred performances known as rituals. Theater likes to act or reenact human events. The only difference lies in its purpose. While the purpose of theater is to entertain, rituals are performances in which mediate between the human and the supernatural. For example, Christians perform the sacrament of the Eucharist, in which mimics Jesus at the Last Supper, turning wine and bread into his blood and body before his crucifixion. This reenactment of the sacrament of Jesus, originally performed, is known as mimesis, or imitation, which is a term Aristotle used in his belief that humans are innately prone to imitating human history. This is why scholars invented the term known as the ritual theory, which implies that religious practices have a direct evolution to modern theater production. In Erica Summers-Effler's document on ritual theory, she explains that rituals generate group emotions, which are connected to symbols that form the foundation for beliefs, thinking, morality, and ultimately culture. Based on this connection, theater, especially theater which reenacts human history, builds a structure of belief that organizes societies. Although it is generally believed that ancient rituals, or the foundation that evolved into modern theater production, the earliest known theater performance developed in ancient Greece was around 6th century BC. According to tradition, portraying several different characters. According to tradition, a playwright and an actor known as Thespis invented the drama when he wore a mask, portraying several different characters, while a chorus sang. This performance was a script that was dedicated to the god of theater, wine, fruitfulness, and vegetation, known as Dionysus, celebrating rejuvenation of the earth. This production kick-started theater in Western culture. Non-Western theater has its origins placed in various ancient civilizations. Modern non-Western theater still holds on to much tradition. However, due to technology and innovation, even non-Western theater, otherwise known as world theater, has created hybridized forms, even with efforts to preserve traditional forms of theater. India, for example, is a non-Western country that has developed its own means of theater, based off spiritual practices. Vedic chanting is one of many examples of ancient tradition theater productions performed in India. The Indian philosophy Maya embraces the wonderful and imaginative force of the universe. These chants and sacred hymns are passed down only through oral tradition, taught by master to apprentice, to preserve the world's most recognized and unchanged oral transmission through ancient to modern day generations. To sum everything up, the absolute beginning of theater is quite unclear. There are many ancient theater performances that have evolved into theater as we know it today. What we do know is that theater plays a major role in the culture and values of society, as theater most likely developed from religious practices. through the most widely accepted idea known as the ritual theory. Something we can all agree on is that theater is oftentimes based off historical accounts that help form and shape the world.